Students, I'm going to overview the instructional project and take you through a couple of samples to give you an idea of what I'm looking for. Now on this assignment sheet you'll see that I put it in the Prios format. I want to start with purpose. The purpose is to write a set of instructions for a specific target audience explaining how to physically manipulate an object. Now I have chosen my words on this assignment sheet very carefully. When I say physically manipulate an object, that does not mean you can teach someone how to do a math problem. Because, for example, in a mathematical problem, you're not physically manipulating something. So this is a very carefully chosen word. I want you to teach someone how to work with their hands, their eyes, and their brain. Those three things. Depending on the degree of complexity for each step, these manuals have about 8 to 10 steps. Now, if you start a manual and find out that it is more than 8 or 10 steps, you can actually do half the manual or 2/3 of the manual. And then you can, when you write the project assessment memo, just tell me that you couldn't finish it, and then I cannot dock you at all for not finishing it. But if you do half the manual, if you do 8 to 10 steps, I will have a very good idea of the design for the manual. The manual will be written in groups of 2 or 3. Usually each student will receive the same grade for the project. Now if this is an online class, you can do it by yourself, face-to-face class, groups of 2 or 3, and you will receive the same grade for the project. So let's talk about topics. Select a topic about which little or nothing has been written. Okay. Best sets of instructions tend to be specific developments or application of technology. Find something that has not been written about, or if you find a bad manual, you can rewrite the bad manual into a better manual, and you will then, when you turn it in, you can turn in the original manual and then your revised manual. Now examples of topics, and I'm going to go through some of these in just a minute. How to string a guitar, how to light a carbide lamp, how to customize your web page, how to set up a remote video camera, how to make a bottle rocket, how to customize Windows Vista or Windows 7 or Windows whatever, how to bind children's books. Best manuals use an even mixture of graphics and text, not one or the other. In this manual you will most likely have to take pictures, and that's becoming so easy now that you take pictures and you upload them and you do the manual. If you need to literally cut and paste, you can cut and paste on this. That means that you take pictures, you print them out, you cut them, and you paste them in your manual. You will need to actually produce for me a PDF copy of this manual, not a Word copy, but a PDF copy. So if you need to print it off or program it in Word, write it in Word, and then turn it into a PDF, that's fine. Or you can literally cut and paste and then scan the manual. Do not write about topics for which there are many manuals. How to change the oil in your car, program a cell phone or iPod. Make sure your topic requires users to work with their hands. Now, when this last criteria, this is why recipes don't work very well, because recipes don't have a lot of hand-eye coordination. They're basically brain and ingredients coordination. So if it's a recipe, make sure it's something like decorating a cake, where you actually have to use your hands to set up something real carefully. Now we've done purpose and readers. You're going to target a specific reader and then you're going to actually test it. But let's go to information organization. We will follow carefully textbook chapters on readers, setters, instruction 27, document design 14, visual display and graphics, and all the chapters about reader-centered writing. And this is the process. You'll define your topic and compose the group. Then you'll develop a comprehensive Prios, including a detailed outline of the instruction section, and you will post these online for review. Next, you'll create your page design. Then you'll create a mock-up, a real rough draft for classroom evaluation or online evaluation. You write your first draft and receive peer and instructor feedback. You'll write a second draft. And after you've written your second draft, you will design and carry out a usability test for the second draft. In this usability test, you will actually test the draft on 3 target readers. Then you will write up your usability report. You'll create the third and final version of the manual, and then you'll turn in your third version and usability report at final exam time, last day of class, which I have signaled in the syllabus. This is a fun part, or a fun project. The students generally like this the best because it's a so-called more creative, where you use visual design, layout design. You get to lay out the page and show how the graphics and the text interacts. So this is the process. The usability report is actually fun. It's where you get actual feedback on how people use your manual, and I'll explain that a little bit later. Now I'm going to take you through manuals that have been done in previous classes, and all of these manuals are students' manuals that have been done in my class. Here's a manual done by a couple of art students creating a successful woodblock print, and you'll see that this is a portrait size, or portrait orientation, an 8.5 by 11. It's the front page. The second page, this is an introduction, what you will need. And then here's the page layout. We see this is a layout that's divided into half, into two columns. The steps on the left and the pictures on the right. And I had to scan these in, and so they're not entirely lined up well, but you can see how this manual works, where they show how to carve out the wood block, and they take them through the process displaying the print. Here's a manual, and I will turn it clockwise in just a minute, but it's hard to see the whole thing this way. This is actually was a pamphlet, and it's cut right into half right here down the middle, and then it's folded 3 ways, and it's how to tune a guitar. And you'll see that they can unfold this little pamphlet, and it gets the whole picture of the guitar here, and then you have steps 1, 2 through step 6 here, and it's a really nice layout because you can fold it up, put it in your guitar case, and then you can pull it back out and unfold it and lay it down and look at, and you can see your guitar as you go through each of the 6 steps. Now this is the view right side up, and you can see if we were to increase the size and give you a little, you can see now how it works. You've got, this would be the first page, you open it up, and then here's the steps. Now this isn't perfect step. He should have designed the prose a little bit better, but it's a really nice layout. Here's another pamphlet, and you can see this is actually 2 8.5 by 11 portrait pieces of paper, and here this is joined in the middle, and this will be folded into a pamphlet. Here's the first page, and then you open it up, and here's the second page, third and fourth. I didn't provide the last page that had 2 or 3 more steps to it, but this just gives you an idea of another layout where you've got the instructions starting and then the pictures below. And pretty good design here. Pictures are good. It shows how to change the roller blades or rotate the wheels on your roller blades. Here's a manual on how to string a tennis racket, and you can't really tell that from the front page. And then it goes, and these are off a little bit because they didn't scan exactly right. As you can see, good on the all of the steps. It has some design problems, but it actually is pretty good. It needs a little more verbal text, a little more instructions with the pictures. Here's a manual on setting up an Ikegami remote camera for a journalist, and this is actually full size. This was made to fit in your pocket, and as we open it up, we'll see the next page, and it got cut off a little bit, but it has a very small design, and it's a landscape orientation cut right down the middle with steps. And we'll go to some of the interior where you have steps on the left and pictures on the right. Here's preparing a hockey stick for use, and you'll see this is an 8.5 by 11 landscape orientation divided into 3. And this is the first page, and then here are the instructions, and it takes you through, and this is a double-sided, and it's an excellent work. Now you look that these are hand-drawn. That is okay if you want to hand draw some really technical parts of this, because this is not a graphics art class. This is a technical writing class, and so these are very clearly done even though they're hand drawn, and it's an excellent work here. And here's a soccer player writing a manual on the fundamentals of goalkeeping. This is 8.5 by 11 portrait, and the first page, lots of language to set it up well. And then you'll see here, prepared to make the save. I'll reduce this a little bit so you can see how this looks. That you've got this photo here with numbers, and then you've got these instructions, and it's really easy to go 1, 1, move here from the text to the positions. And here, this is more conceptual, but talking about how to position yourself as being centered. Catching, cradle, kneel and cradle, diving, and takes you through all the steps. This was a really tough one to design, because on this page, for example, it would have been better to have it divided into half with the prose over here, the pictures over here, but some of the other pages had to show the things kind of in motion, especially here and these two. So he had to make a decision to keep his format consistent throughout, and in some times that consistent format works better than others. Here's a simple electric motor. This is the first page with everything set up, the final product, materials, directions. It has the instructions first with graphics second, and again these were mostly hand-drawn, although they used brought in pictures. This was actual cut and paste. Now as you'll see, this design is good when you have various steps for one picture. Here we have 1 step, 1 picture, 3 steps, 1 picture, 1 step, various pictures, 1 step, 2 pictures. And this is a really nice design when you have when your graphics and steps vary a great deal. Takes you through the whole process. And then this is an example of usability report, a really good usability report that showed the whole usability process. The final one is a small little manual that the student assumed that this would go in the box that a baseball cap came in, or it would be connected. It would be attached to a new baseball cap, and this is personalizing your new hat. Now you'll see if I take it down to size, this is the actual size. Good size. This is a landscape orientation, and the scanning was a bit off, you can see, but this is how he's organized it. Pictures first, nice heading, picture, text. Heading, picture, text. Actually quite a nice manual, very small, and the reason why it's small is going to be attached to the baseball cap. These manuals give you an idea of the kinds of topics that students have used in the past. Not all of these were A manuals, some of them had issues, but most of them were quite good. This is a great assignment. Its purpose is to help you understand how people use your instructions and will make you a better teacher, especially in technology.